Good morning. Good morning. It's happy Friday. I hope your trading week went well. Nothing's worse than ending the week red. So, uh, let's make sure we get some good setups. I have a couple stocks that we definitely want to go over. What do you guys think? Do you also want me to go over short selling if there's an opportunity in the market for the downside? Are you guys wanting to check that out too? A lot of new traders just like the long side of the market. First, we're looking at to get into it, GM. Now, GM put in one great move. We talked about this when it was all the way down in this range right here. Okay, and we got the move up, but remember, we don't want to be buyers where there are sellers, and we definitely have some sellers up here. Now, could GM go higher? And if it does, that just shows the stock has strength. It probably is going to work back and forth between this area a little bit. If it continues, that's terrific. But until it does something otherwise, we want to have that understanding. If we look at the daily chart too, we have a couple of bars just going straight up from the gap down. Okay, and we're also running into our 50-day moving average, and it's converging with that 180-day moving average. Can it continue? Absolutely. What are we looking for? Let's go down to the 30-minute chart. It's imperative that you check multiple time frames. What I would love to see is this area, or I've already snapped the lines. This area down here is the neckline to the double bottom that I put in. Okay. Once it gets up here around where there's sellers at, what we'd like to see is it to come back down and give us a bounce off the neckline. That would be a wonderful area to keep an eye on for this particular stock. However, if we measure from the pivot low to pivot high and we grab the 50%, it's right around this 180-day moving average. So that's something we would want to pay attention to too. And we get this cluster right here, which tells me we have some support, and we are also getting some support around the moving average, the 180-day, which is makes up a point of confluence. Whenever you have a couple different areas proven to you that the stock may find a bottom there, we want to keep an eye on that. So what we're going to do is put another line right there, and these are the areas. And so what we'll do is maybe we'll paint this one green, because this is like kind of the area that would be really neat if it did get down there. We will find some buyers, but this would be not a bad spot as well to just go ahead and start really paying attention to the stock. Remember, if it decides to hang up here and not go down that far and let time catch up to price, then it's just stronger. And we want to keep in mind that it took a few days before it went ahead and had the sell-off. So it would make sense if we had a few days in here before actually making that breakout to the opposite side. And of course, if we find ourselves back down around this price area, GM's probably a pretty good area to pay attention to it in around that area. SQ had a really nice push up, is gapping down. Remember, Fridays, usually people like to take profit on Fridays. So just have that understanding. What I would like to see is it kind of struggled around this price area. And so we want to pay attention to these areas where it struggled at. And we did start making lower highs, which then caught our attention for this entire move to the upside. Now, we did get a sell-off yesterday, so we are paying attention to this area. This would be a cool spot for SQ to pull back into. Once again, the 180-day moving average, and right off the last time that there was some sellers, causing old resistance to now become a new support. So that would be the area I'd be looking for. In the meantime, intraday levels, we definitely have the top. Again, today I'm a little more short biased. That's why I was asking at the beginning if you guys would like me to go over shorts. If those particular days I may be interested in short selling, I actually really enjoy short selling. So that's the other area. Low a day yesterday. If we get through that, we are under the moving averages. If we pop up, this is going to be an area that we need to get through as well. So be watching this. We could see a rejection in here and then a failure coming down. This little batch of candlesticks is also going to give us a little bit of some hesitation on the way down, most likely. Now, that's probably what lines we're going to want to pay attention to. Now, bias a little bit to the short side. We'll pay attention. I generally have the 10-minute chart up when we're looking first thing. Now, Roku, we talked about and we liked it. It said it was looking pretty supercharged, and it did. It took off for us. Okay, this is the same spot. Now, Roku's got a lot to prove before this thing starts going in the opposite direction. We're right into a support. This is the area of resistance. We gapped above it. We took off. It doesn't surprise me when we're looking at it in a standpoint of market makers. This is an area that was tough to get over. We went ahead and gapped over that price, made a run for it, couldn't hold it, and now the market makers, the market is right back down at that area. So what's going to happen is we're either going to find buyers because we loved it down here, buyers loved it and pushed it up, or it's going to get back here and it's not going to hold that price, and then the market now knows that Roku is not worth $325 and it'll roll back over. Okay, and we'll see some cheaper prices. So that's kind of the line in the sand for Roku. Is the 325 40 level. So we'll pay attention to that, and to the upside, we're going to, and if I'm not mistaken, that blue line is going to tell us that there was a gap in the chart. We can go to the daily chart real quick that it needed to fill. So we have the gap down here. We're back down and around this area. Let's see if it can hold. We're obviously going to grab some daily support back down around this area. So that's something to be kind of paying attention to. We did fill all the gaps. We mentioned if we got above this candle right here, this indecision bar that we kind of made up out of 2 days, if we got out of that indecision bar, we should make a nice little move, and we certainly did. So now we're wanting to test the top of that indecision bar. And when we bring that up, it may even be that this is the critical line on that indecision bar. So if we go back to that 10-minute time frame, we're underneath it. So now we just got more of a true line of resistance for the stock. That means we got to battle and get back above 327.50. That despite this down here, and that could be very well proved to be a decent line to hold up. I think we're going to get some bantering back and forth right here. Let's see if it can really crash, or if we'll find some buyers to keep it up in this price area of that 324 to 327 range. And if it does spike up, we're going to get some additional sellers in this area, because that's the last time buyers came in. Buyers picked it up here, pushed it. They were expecting maybe some higher prices. We just got sold underneath. Believe it or not, there's people holding the bag on Roku. Let's make sure we don't hold the bag. Give me a thumbs up if you like the information. If you would like to go over some specific stocks, let me know your guys' ideas, and we could break those down too. So subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you guys later.